Hey there viewers, it's Charlie. I'm back again with another Transformers review, and today's review is going to be on Legacy Galvatron, or to most people, Kingdom Galvatron. So yeah, for the Legacy toy line, they should have just re-released Galvatron, although they did remove that battle damage that the Kingdom figure had, which honestly I'm quite happy they did. And they actually did fix the shoulder issue that the Kingdom figure did have. Well, they did also do that with the running change with the Kingdom figure, but that's besides the point. But well, let's have a look at the box for this guy. And we can see the Legacy Leader Class boxes now don't have any windows on them. Well, whether that's a good or bad thing is up to you, but, well, for me, it does allow for more artwork, but, well, it does make toy swapping a bit easier. So yeah. But I'm all for the artwork on these boxes. Why else do you think I keep the boxes? Yeah, you can see a gap there. That's where I keep Galvatron's box. I've got more boxes behind the paper here. I just use the paper to hide the artwork because it'll get distracting. But yeah, we got a picture of Galvatron in both robot and vehicle mode. Got his name there, sideways this time, so it's like the Siege and Earthrise boxes. Says that he's a leader class. This side we got a picture of him, once again in both modes. Got his name in Cybertronian, so they got down the side of the box of the Legacy figures. This side we got the Decepticons of Legacy, and Megatron for some reason, even though he's not in Legacy as of right now. The back, we've got Galvatron in both modes. He does come with a matrix and a QR code if you want to scan that. Thankfully, unlike Bulkhead, this one does work. Well, the Bulkhead one that actually does work now. They've got it working in between Bulkhead's review and this one. So yeah. And once again, the top of the box is slanted, so I can't really put anything on it to, you know, display it now. But oh well. That's pretty much it for the box. And well, looking at the figure itself, of course, Galvatron's just a big space cannon. This was back when they were doing like futuristic alt modes in G1. And we're just having a 360 of this. This is definitely the best looking Generations Galvatron that we've gotten. I mean, the Universe one was... and the Times Return one was... well, that one's really up for debate, but... yeah, this is definitely the best Galvatron that we've gotten from Generations. I mean, like, we've got, like, the cannon here, which is a nice translucent plastic, emulating the G1 figure. Sort of like the Times Return figure, the legs are sort of sideways, but they do transform in sort of a unique way, because you can see the feet there, then we've got little struts there to keep it upright. Suppose if you want to try and, like, lean it, somehow you can just do that, or in fact, no. Yeah. I think that's your best bet. Doing something like this, I don't know. There you go. It looks a bit awkward, but it's the best I can think of. we do have some added detailing because we got these little bits here. These are going to be like the side skirts and the robot modes. The underneath, well, we pretty much just see the robot mode. But we do have like the rolling wheels, so of course you can still roll along. So unlike Megatron, he doesn't need to be held by anyone in his alt mode. Well, for this guy's accessories, well, as shown on the box, we do get this matrix. And it's on a chain, so it's like when he's on Unicron and he's trying to use it against him. And I can just go on here, and there is a little tab that goes on there. So you can actually do that. And you also get these two guns, which are actually modeled on his ship from the movie that Unicron gives him, albeit the wrong color and definitely way smaller. And you get two of them. Okay then. I mean, imagine if like we got an Optimus Prime figure that came with like two guns based on the Arc, or if we got a Megatron that came with guns based on the Nemesis. Or if we even got an Optimus Prime with guns based on the Axelon. That's what this is. Like, just imagine it. Like, that's hilarious. But what these can do is they can just go into here somehow. A bit tricky to do that, but they can just tab into here. And, yeah, but it does sort of bring down the vehicle mode a little bit, in my opinion. I mean, why would he even need more guns? He's a freaking space cannon. I mean, he straight up annihilated Starscream when he first transformed. Speaking of which, blast effect compatibility. Well, of course, we can just give him a huge blast. And I'm just going to use the one that came with Rodimus. And even if it does droop a little bit, you can still do that. So, yeah. Or if you just want him to do, like, smaller, blasts and go ahead. And as for like blast effect compatibility in these guns, not really. But while they do combine, which is a bit ridiculous, but okay. Well, that's pretty much all I have to say about the cannon mode, so bringing in a comparison with G1 Galvatron. Yes, the color is completely different, but there is the Generation Selects Galvatron if you want this figure in these colors. I might get that one day, but for now I'm happy with this guy in the good old Cadbury purple. At least this bit's still great to sort of pay homage to this. I'm pretty sure that was in the animation. And you can see that it's still the silhouette of the figure. Like, this bit's pretty much just like this bit's meant to be that bit. Cannon is translucent, just like this. So yeah. In fact, the Select figure even has a rub sign, just like the G1 figure. That's how far they went. So yeah, if I ever get the Select figure, I'll definitely do a much deeper comparison. And also, obligatory 80s sound effect. In fact, just before I transform the Legacy / Kingdom version, just that's disappointing. No, I mean, this did come out like 30 years after this, so like 30 something years after, so I guess that's not really much of a surprise. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the vehicle mode. I definitely really like it. It's definitely really cool looking. So, to get this guy transformed, we're just going to tilt my phone up and hope the stand that it's on doesn't break, as I'm using a Lego, as I've said before. But well, to get this guy transformed, we can do some parts forming. But it's good parts forming, it's weapons parts forming, so it's not like Cliff Jumper, okay? But yeah, we removed this part in the cannon, so it's just the G1 figure. And in fact, this bit does kind of remind me of the little bit that the cannon does go on, just a different color. Yeah, you just attach these two bits together. I'll just lay that off to the side for now. And then we can go on to the main figure. So to start, we can just take the little strut thing, push that up, push the feet up. We can take the arms, untap them from these little bits here. Just get those up for now. Just get everything untabbed, move the legs down, get that out the way. Get that in, like so. And we want to try and get this opened up, so we can try and get the head out. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it wants to fight you. And it looks like today it wants to fight me. So if you'll just excuse me. There we go. So yeah, I just want to get that open. Try and get the head out of there. Clear your throat, because it always happens on camera. I'll do that again. Like, I'm not gonna fully type this in, but yeah, you want to get that in, get the head out fully, and then you can close out with the head still out. Push these little side scat pieces. Take the legs, split them. Move these little bits around to the back of the leg. And I believe in the packaging they're still out. Like when you get this guy out of the box, these bits are not flipped around, like they're still there. And you have to flip around the heels, which once again they're not flipped out in box, which I guess is understandable. You want to get this bit out before you flip it up. Get these bits in. Just rotate these little shoulder pauldrons. These shoulders often untap quite easily. Get the treads out. Just plug them into that little back section. Want to unpack the arm. Get the hand out. Just do the same for the other arm. So get the tread into there. Unpack the shoulder. Well, not that. Unpack the forearm. Just get the fist out. Pretty much have Galvatron all transformed. And then finally just take the cannon, and you can either put it up there if you want like toy accuracy, or I think some bits of the cartoon did do that. Although, I like to just put that in the forearm. And well, here we have Galvatron in his robot modes. And yeah, it's a kind of transformation where it is complicated, but it's still doable and it's really fun. Like, I just love doing this transformation. It's like Rodimus Prime, where it's like there's bits that have to tab in, but they don't really do it that well, and it takes a lot of force. This guy, like, there's bits, like, almost every part moves, but it's still really fun. Like, this is a really, really fun figure for me. We're just having a 360. And also, well, you can see that I'm pretty sure that these shoulders are correctly assembled, so they are higher up, thankfully. There are reviews that show the incorrect shoulders, so I'm not going to go into detail here. And well, you can see, well, after I show the head, and of course that is Galvatron's head. I don't really hear Leonard Nimoy's voice coming out of this. I more hear Frank Welker's crazy season 3 voice coming out of this guy. But still, I probably ain't good people saying that, but still, Leonard Nimoy did an amazing job voicing Galvatron in the movie. I think like one of the best performances in the movie. But well, I'm getting off topic. The main difference between this and the Kingdom version, no battle damage. The Kingdom version had like little light blue scrapings here on the arms and some little scrapings on the legs. The Legacy version just gets rid of all that. And in fact, they're going to be doing the same to Siege Soundwave and Wave 2. I mean, sure, I would have preferred the Netflix Soundwave, but I'm pretty sure they do have a reason for that. And seeing I don't have Siege Soundwave, I do actually plan on getting that. Seeing how I'm one of the few people on this planet who actually thinks Siege Soundwave has a co-op mode. Unpopular opinion, I know, but still, I just think it's a co-op mode, okay? Well, getting into this figure's accessories again, we can of course give him the Matrix, and that just slots over his neck, so he's like a gangster now. With like the gold, some sort of a gold necklace. Or this is really just based on the scene where he's trying to use it against Unicron, and that's what provokes Unicron to attack Cybertron and kill Shockwave. And of course we have the little spaceship guns. And you can plug these into the hands. Sure. I don't really see the point because, you know, but it's still a nice homage to the movie. I'm pretty sure they just meant to go with like the HasLab Unicron, which, seeing how I'm not I'm not a wealthy businessman, I don't have HasLab Unicron, so what I do is there are bits in the back and these can just slot into here. They're meant to go on like this, but you can see, well, not like they just stick out the top really far, so I instead use this tab here to plug in the back guns. Although it is a bit tricky to do. There we go. Because you can see they are a bit close together, so here we have Galvatron with his accessories on. Pretty much just have like the guns in the back as like little, I don't know, pylons or something. I don't know, like maybe like little rocket boosters if I turn them around, I don't know. But yeah, that just adds to my point. Why does he need guns if he already has a huge arm cannon? Same with Megatron. To be fair, like, Megatron did have a huge sword in Siege, but And of course, going to the cannon, as shown, you just pop blast effect in there. Even if it does sort of a droop about. But you can still do it. Could weigh down the figure, but still. As for like impact ports, I don't really see any. Yeah, I'm pretty sure after a wee while they just got rid of like the impact ports, which is unfortunate. But well, we still do have like the laser feet ports, and that's why I keep Aimless's little thing, because well, other people will like either do like rocket feet or I'll just put weaponizer things here. I like to do laser feet just because for a while I just had the Aimless blast effects and nothing else. It wasn't until recently I got, as at the time of recording, I got other blast effects from Ronimus. Well, here, yeah, you can also put these in for like rocket feet. Well, I'm pretty sure Galvatron would more likely propel himself using his cannon. So it's like a rocket jump like Soldier from Team Fortress 2. Rest in peace to that voice actor. But yeah, I'm not really spotting any major problems. The gun's having trouble plugging into the back, sure, but other than that, yeah, I'm not really spotting any major issues. Especially seeing how my copy actually has correctly assembled shoulders, because, well, this was a legacy re-release. So, well, let's get on to comparing him with the G1 figure. And oh boy, the G1 figure is definitely quite the big boy. Even like right at the back of the table, he doesn't even fit on camera. Yeah, you can definitely see like the different proportions, the colors, which once again there's the Selects figure for that, and like the difference in the heads. And of course, there's no crotch button on this figure. But yeah. So for the articulation on this guy, let's just remove the weaponry so it doesn't get in the way. Well, in fact, before I do that, G1 Galvatron's gun, if you really wanted to, yes, the Kingdom / Legacy figure can actually hold G1 Galvatron's gun. I mean, I'd more prefer if, like, Toy Hacks did like a more like in scale G1 styled gun, and knowing them, they probably already have. I don't really do Toy Hacks, but it's still cool for like other collectors. Yeah, if they haven't, which I'm pretty sure they did, but if they haven't, then just like sort of downsize the gun so it's like in scale to fit into this guy's hand a bit better, and just give like a blast effect port on the end of the gun. But I'm pretty sure they have done. Well, finally getting onto the articulation. The head is on a ball joint, so he can look up, look down, sort of, and look around. The arms can, of course, move. Of course, he can T-pose. Just to assert dominance on the Decepticons, seeing how he pretty much became the leader after Unicron reformatted Megatron. Got elbows. If you want the arm swivel, you have to unplug the tread though. So that's a bit odd. Hands do rotate. The waist does rotate, kind of. Does get blocked by this though. Legs go forward. They go back that far. If you get these little side skirts out of the way, you can do the splits. And he's got ankle pivot up to there. It's got knees up to there. And this can swivel. So yeah, quite posable, although the fact that you have to sort of unpeg the treads to do this, the arm swivel is a bit perplexing. But oh well. And well, that's pretty much all I have to say about this guy. Complaints? Well, this is more towards the Kingdom version of the figure, more than the Legacy version, but the battle damage was a bit weird, especially seeing how it wasn't a Siege figure. But well, at least with the Kingdom version, they did get rid of it, and it was easy to remove with isopropyl, but well, that just made the Legacy version coming out without the battle damage already a bit more awkward, didn't it? But, oh well. An actual complaint though, as I just mentioned, the fact that you have to unpeg this for the swivel there, but yeah, that's minor. But yeah, I'm really struggling to think of actual complaints here. This is a really good figure. So, you already know what I'm going to say. Do I recommend this figure? Of course I do. This is the best Generations Galvatron figure that we've had since ever. I mean, come on, Universe was shit. Time's Return was, well, it was a good substitute, but this just blows the others out of the water. This is amazing. In fact, if I just get Cyclonus out quickly. I should have gotten Cyclonus out earlier, but yeah, if I get Cyclonus out, you can see he definitely looks really good with him. And pretty much all in now is Studio Series Scourge. And they'll actually have the free Unicron Heralds. So yeah, if you're a huge Galvatron fan, please get this figure. You're definitely missing out if you don't have this figure. Well, this has been my review on Kingdom / Legacy Galvatron, and this is Charlie Young, signing off.